everyone, here we are at the Sachsenring and we have perfect weather here for race 9 and 10, and indeed it's the hot phase of the DTM season 2023. Only 3 more race weekends to go, and this one here is very special.
Motorsport fans have been waiting 21 years for this comeback. The DTM is back on the
Sachsenring!
It's really an awesome racetrack.
I love it here. It's an awesome track, the Sachsenring. Amazing.
20 kilometres away from Chemnitz, full throttle is only allowed 10 days a year due to noise. But then, all is right. A special racetrack that makes almost every turn a real experience due to its characteristics.
Yeah, it's obviously a great track with built into the nature, up and down, and a lot of fast corners.
We also have gravel beds, so in quali you need to go on the absolute limit.
That it's an unusual track. We never come here. It's something new.
However, the technically demanding layout doesn't exactly invite a wealth of overtaking. That's why the team's strategists are challenged all the more.
So you need to be very, let's say double aggressive than the other track to really nail it and to use the tires maximum. So you do, let's say, a lot of stuff on the wear of the tires, which means try to bring a lot of energy into the tires and squeeze it and to get it out.
The last DTM winner in 2002 was Laurent Aiello, who later became champion.
So Laurent Aiello controlled the qualifying race, controlled the major race, and has won here at the Sachsenring.
Also on the grid at that time, today's ABT team boss, Martin Tomczyk.
Well, long time ago. The memories are not that good anymore, but I just can remember that the racetrack is just it has a great layout. This is well the feedback what I get now from Kelvin and Ricardo. And obviously I'm really happy now to be back here at Sachsenring with the DTM.
His driver Kelvin van der Linde also has good memories of the Sachsenring. Together with Patrick Niederhauser, he stood at the top of the podium in the ADAC GT Masters in 2019. Both were crowned champions right here.
Yeah, it was great winning the championship here. I remember also in the paddock right here, our after party. It's a day I'll never forget. You know, it's not every year you win a championship, so very proud to come back.
Statistically, however, Audi doesn't have a good record on the asphalt roller coaster that's just over 3.6 kilometres long. Because since 2016, 8 out of 14 races in the GT Masters have been won by a Mercedes AMG. Dominance or not, the DTM is back at the Sachsenring, and everyone is up for it. So the 6th weekend of DTM 2023 brings us to the east of Germany. We're around about 20 kilometres from the town of Chemnitz, and we are close to the border with the Czech Republic. And in the middle of the residential area and industrial park is this gem of a race circuit, the Sachsenring, 3.6 kilometres of fury. It is an anti-clockwise track. In 2000, Klaus Ludwig was a double race winner here for Mercedes, but there was drama aplenty at that first corner. It's a real pinch point, a hairpin, with a downhill run out of the corner, down to this turn, turn 3, where again it all tightens up, and there was more contact there in that first ever visit of DTM to the circuit all those years ago. And then last time the DTM came here in 2002, Laurent Aiello was a double race winner for Audi with the ABT Sportsline team, who of course still compete in the DTM. So a huge crowd here lined up with, again, hot weather for the drivers to deal with, just like we had at the Lausitzring 3 weeks previously. The cars on the grid ready to go racing for the first of 2 races this weekend in what's going to be the 11th round of 16 in the 2023 championship. We've had 10 races, and so far we've had 9 different race winners. Only Mirko Bortolotti, the championship leader, has had more than 1 race win. Different ways of trying to keep cool for the crowd, but imagine what it's going to be like for the drivers inside the cockpits of these cars, where it's about 30 degrees hotter than it is out here. So there is Mirko Bortolotti, looking as cool as a cucumber. He picked up the championship lead off the back of a win and a second place finish last time out at the Lausitzring, moving just a few points clear of Thomas Preining with 6 races to go, including this 1-hour race coming up here at the Sachsenring.
We've been chasing the whole year. Now finally we are in a better position. We are in front, and so I'm quite relaxed on that, but we cannot be relaxed. looking forward, because we know how tough this competition is.
So Mirko Bortolotti is the driver on form, 2 wins out of the last 4 races. Thomas Preining, though, still only 7 points adrift at the top of the championship table. And he'll start 3rd, just ahead of him, Ayhan Güven, the Turkish driver, former Porsche Carrera Cup France champion, his best qualifying ever. Likewise, Luca Stolz, first ever pole position for Luca, who was easily the best of the Mercedes during the 20-minute qualifying session. So can the German get his 2nd win in the DTM and his 1st of the season for the HRT squad, Haupt Racing squad here at the Sachsenring. We'll have some stiff competition, that's for sure, but on a track where it can be difficult to overtake, pole is a great place to be. Stolz and Güven then on the front row of the grid. Kelvin van der Linde qualified 3rd, but with reprimands has built up a 5-place grid penalty. So Preining and Bortolotti, the top 2 in the championship, are on road 2. Thierry Vermeulen with his best qualifying, and Jack Aitken, his Ferrari teammate, are next up. And then Sheldon van der Linde 7th, Kelvin van der Linde demoted to 8th place. Dennis Olsen and Patrick Niederhauser complete the top 10. Then on the 6th row of the grid, Lucas Auer, 5th in the championship, Ricardo Feller 7th in qualifying but demoted to 12th with a 5-place grid penalty for reprimands for him as well. From Pereira likewise, 5-place grid penalty, starts 13th, Maro Engel 14th, Heinrich with a 5-place grid penalty, and Owega start next up. And the 9th row of the grid, we've got Arjun Maini and the 3-time champion René Rast back in 18th spot. Tim Heinemann and David Schumacher complete the top 20 on the grid. Then on row 11, Marvin Dietz, who's been a double winner here in the GT Masters at the Sachsenring, Matthias Drudy for company, Clement Schmidt starting back in 23rd, Marco Wittmann, 2-time champion, all the way back in 24th. Then it's Luca Engstler and Sandro Holtzen, 2 of the young guns of DTM, with then at the back of the grid, Alessio Deleda starting in 27th position. The best German darts player, Gabriel Clemens, holds aloft the Start Your Engines board as the crowd get ready for the first race of the weekend here at the Sachsenring. So the rolling start about to get underway, this steep uphill climb out of turn 13, with Lucas Stolz to the left of your picture in the Mercedes, leading them through to the start. Ayhan Güven alongside. The lights go out momentarily, and then they will pull the trigger and fire it towards the first corner. And it looks like a beautiful start for Lucas Stolz here. He's going to lead surely into turn 1, but look at the challenge for 2nd place. Thomas Preining has crept up the inside of Ayhan Güven here. You've got Jack Aitken in the Ferrari going all the way around the outside as well. They filter through the first 2 turns here, and there's some contact in the middle of the pack between Ricardo Feller and Maro Engel, who's been sent out wide. So Stolz lead, Güven just about fended off Preining for 2nd place. And then this is looking back from Jack Aitken's car. He's battling away with his teammate Thierry Vermeulen. They're both battling away with Mirko Bortolotti, who didn't make the best of starts from the 2nd row of the grid either. But Vermeulen hasn't got through, and indeed he's coming under pressure now from Kelvin van der Linde, who's trying to recover from this 5-place grid penalty, having built up 3 reprimands. So he always knew he was going to start 5 places further back. He qualified 3rd, though. He's really quick, and the Ab Sportsline Audi is up the inside here, trying to get ahead of Thierry Vermeulen and gain another place. So the South African, who has had 5 wins at this circuit in GT Masters, is really gunning for it. He carries the speed way out wide, then coming downhill towards turn 12. Right behind with the onboard camera is Sheldon van der Linde, and then Kelvin, his older brother, gets up the inside of Thierry Vermeulen and gains a place. So that's up into the top 6 already for Kelvin van der Linde, and Sheldon's going to try and follow suit here on the way into turn 13 as they go uphill, climb over the start-finish line at the end of the first lap of the race. But what a start for Lucas Stolz. He's 2 seconds clear, and then you've got Ayhan Güven 2nd, Thomas Preining in 3rd, Jack Aitken in 4th. And look at this battle between Aitken's teammate Thierry Vermeulen, still fending off the champion. Remember, Thierry, former Porsche Benelux champion, is in his 1st season of DTM. He's just 20 years of age, and he's fighting the defending champion here and keeping the Schubert BMW behind him. And behind the pair of them, a really good start for the blue number 7 Audi of Ricardo Feller, who had to come from 12th on the grid because of his 5-place grid penalty. His 3rd warning came by being too slow on the racing line in qualifying this morning, so a 3rd reprimand means 5-place grid penalty. Worth noting that the other 2 key championship contenders, Bortolotti and Preining, are on 2 reprimands. So if they do anything wrong in this race, in the eyes of the stewards, they could be finding themselves with a 5-place grid penalty for race 2 tomorrow. over the crest at turn 10 they go then, and this massive downhill run then through what's called the waterfall, through turns 11 down towards turn 12. There are blind entries here, massive undulations, and you require massive commitment as a race driver, which is why they all love it. Not having a great time though, I'm afraid, is Maro Engel, who's quickest here in the private test a week ago. Let's see exactly what happened to him off the start. Here's a replay. On board with Maro Engel. To the left is the blue Audi of Ricardo Feller. Into turn 2, there was the contact, into the gravel trap and into the barrier for Engel.
The race was over in turn 2. Just got a pretty big hit on the rear left, and not sure that was necessary. Coming through the grass there, pushed me over to the right, and I ended up in the barrier and had pretty big damage. So yeah, it's a real shame. Try and fight back tomorrow.
So Lukas Stolz building up a nice cushion here, 3 seconds clear of Ayhancan Guwen in the Porsche. Thomas Preining second in the championship, third in the race though, is ahead of all his title rivals here. Jack Aitken in fourth after a terrific start. And then in fifth place, Mirko Bortolotti. Kelvin van der Linde closing in sixth place. It's Vermeulen seventh, Sheldon van der Linde in eighth, Ricardo Feller from 12th to 9th, and Patrick Niederhauser, former GT Masters champion, alongside Kelvin van der Linde a few years ago. He's running in the top 10 as well. So there you can see the gap has generally been coming down between van der Linde and Bortolotti. He loves this place, Kelvin van der Linde. Feels at one. He got his first podium of the season last time out at the Lausitzring, but the safety car is being deployed, and that's terrible news, of course, for the race leader, Lukas Stolz. His 3 second plus lead about to be completely wiped out. Nobody's gone off the circuit, so I think this is to do with debris out on the track and the risk of punctures. So for safety reasons, they're going to bring them all behind the safety car, get rid of the debris to avoid the risk of any punctures around this high-speed circuit, and then we'll get back underway pretty shortly. So the safety car coming in on this lap. Lukas Stolz has got everybody queued up behind him. He's coming out of turn 12. You can see the safety car peeling away in the distance, and he's going to pull the trigger as soon as he gets into the apex of the final turn, turn 13, to try and re-establish his lead. What about Thomas Preining? Can he have a go at Ayhancan Guwen? Guwen puts a wheel through the gravel on the exit as they get up to speed now and head over the start-finish line for the restart of the race at full speed. Lukas Stolz, Ayhancan Guwen, and then Thomas Preining. Jack Aitken in fourth, looking to go up the inside there as they ran through the shot. The Ferrari was fully alongside then Thomas Preining, but he didn't get through. Preining still in third place. Jack Aitken having another luck on the way through turn 2, and then you've got his teammate behind, number 69, Thierry Vermeulen, having another battle with Sheldon van der Linde, who's right behind him now in the battle, the tussle for 7th place. He gets up the inside, side by side they go, but look, Thierry Vermeulen will not let him through. He loses a wing mirror as well. Well, it's still on, but it's facing downwards now on the Ferrari, so that's going to obscure his view looking backwards for the rest of the race. But you might be the champion, says Thierry Vermeulen, but you're not coming past me. On board Ricardo Feller just behind them with a great view of the action, and still Thierry Vermeulen digs his heels in and refuses to let the BMW past him. So terrific battle going on here. It's a picture-in-picture, the onboard camera facing Sheldon van der Linde. Ricardo Feller, of course, is one of Sheldon's title rivals. Sheldon fourth in the championship. Ricardo with the blue Audi just behind him, third in the championship, and having a pretty good start to the race here. The safety car, of course, helping him out, but he already made up a few positions from 6th row of the grid. Lukas Stolz, though, has got away from them again. Look, perfect restart for Luca. He's as cool as ice, is that German driver. He's almost stealth-like. Sometimes you forget what a quick driver is because he's so unassuming, very quietly spoken, no ego, but a terrific peddler, Lukas Stolz, and a smooth driver as well, which could pay dividends here around a track which is very tough on the tyres, especially with all these left-handers. The right-sided tyres, the Pirelli slicks, take a real battering around this circuit with the high-speed sections at the back of the track in particular. Also unseasonably hot here for September at 28 degrees. The track temperature not far behind that. So Stolz, Guwen and Preining the top three. And then Bortolotti comes through in 4th place. What's happened to Jack Aitken? The Emil Frey Racing Ferrari has disappeared. It's dropping, plummeting down the timing screen. And I'm afraid it looks like Jack Aitken is out of the running and possibly into retirement after what had been a terrific start to the race. You see the terrific drone shot here, chasing them down through turn 3, this big uphill climb as they continue to rise through turns 4, 5 and 6. So Bortolotti up to 4th, Kelvin van der Linde 5th, Sheldon van der Linde trying to be in 6th place, the BMW getting up the inside of the Ferrari, he gets through, Ricardo Feller is going to try and follow him, and Vermeulen loses 2 places in quick succession here. You had to say that has been coming for a while. Sheldon van der Linde has been knocking at the door, hammering down the door, trying to find a way past Thierry Vermeulen. It's a brave effort from the young Dutch driver to fend off the champion for so long, but in the end, the BMW driver too quick, and Ricardo Feller, with a quick bit of thinking, following through his championship rival. So Vermeulen dropping back to 8th place now, and with work still to do, they're starting to queue up behind him. We're going to replay here. Not the first time this pair have run side by side in the race. Thierry Vermeulen refusing to give way to Sheldon van der Linde. Well, we can get some team radio now from the defending champion.
What a fucking joke! What is he doing?
So there, Jack Aitken's Ferrari in the garage, steam coming from the bonnet, so the radiator has been broken by the looks of things. About to retire to save the engine, and in comes Lukas Stolz. Early on then, in the pit windows, in the middle 20 minutes of this 1 hour plus 1 lap race, is where the mandatory pit stops happen. You change the rear, you change the front, and brand new stickered Pirelli tyres going on. You get 4 sets of Pirellis at the Sachsenring to last 2 qualifyings and 2 races. So those that started on used tyres tend to come in early, put the new tyres on and have a longer second stint. Thomas Preining in as well, and Ricardo Feller in the background. So lots of drivers coming in right at the top of the pit window opening up. Feller comes out, 3rd of the pit stoppers, and then Vermeulen has been in as well. Lucas Auer 5th in the championship. Jesper Vega has been in. Luca Engler made an early stop as well. Now in comes Ingen Nguyen. So can he get out? Still ahead of Thomas Preining is the question, and how close can he be to Lukas Stolz? Stolz is just coming over the start-finish line now, so you see him coming into your shot. There he is, Lukas Stolz through, and Thomas Preining is going to get by as well, so that effectively will move Preining up to 2nd place once all the pit stops are done. And then Ricardo Feller is going to squeeze ahead of Sheldon van der Linde, so that's effectively a change of position as well. Dennis Olsen, Thierry Vermeulen follow, and then the rest of them stream out of the pits now trying to get up to speed. A hot day, but it still takes a while to get the tyres up to temperature due to the fact you can't use tyre warmers in the DTM. Right, Bortolotti in to make his pit stop, the championship leader, having a pretty good run here. He adheres to the pit lane speed limit of 50 kilometres an hour. He comes into the SSR Performance pit box. They're raising on the jacks, they change the rears, they move across to the fronts. A good stop is less than 6 seconds in DTM, a really good stop is anyway. And away he goes, lights up the tyres, almost takes out one of the cones there as he's so desperate to get on the power. Still adhering to the pit lane speed limit with the limiter on, so Stolz comes through now, and then it's going to be Preining, but it's going to be close between Bortolotti and Nguyen, and he now pulls the trigger. Bortolotti comes out, locks up, a big lock-up, a big cloud of smoke coming from the back of the Lamborghini. He's going to be 4th of the pit stoppers behind Nguyen, but ahead of Feller and ahead of Kelvin van der Linde, who's also come out and made his pit stop as well. So Kelvin van der Linde going well here, but behind his teammate Ricardo Feller now, who's having a really good run. Both of them coming back from 5th place grid penalties. So big lock up there from Bortolotti as he came out. Now they are head in hands down at SSR Performance. What is up? Replay, and this was the car up on the jacks and spinning the wheels. Look, the rear wheel spinning. You're not allowed to do that while the car is up on the jacks. I think there was a slight delay with the front left by the looks of things, so he thought he was ready to go. He thought he'd be dropped down, and just then coming out of the pits, a big lock-up, and that would have flat spotted his new tyres as well. So potentially a penalty on its way for Mirko Bortolotti, the championship leader. A run through the penalty box cost you about 5 seconds. There seems no doubt that the car was spinning its wheels, as look at this, he's lost 2 places already to Feller and also to Kelvin van der Linde. He's struggling with the car at the moment, there's no doubt about it. So was that lock-up a problem with the brakes? Has he got a problem with the tyres? Mirko Bortolotti suddenly on the back foot here. He's got Sheldon van der Linde whipping past him easily as well, and he's going to get a penalty lap for spinning the wheels whilst the car was on the air jacks, as we said. So Mirko Bortolotti next time around will have to go through that penalty box on the left of your picture. It will cost him about 5 seconds, but he's already lost 3 places since coming out of the pits on cold tyres and struggling, I think, with something else on that car as well. It does not look right. He looks like he's really struggling with it at the moment. And he's now got Dennis Olsen getting bigger and bigger in the mirrors as well. And we can get some team radio now from Bortolotti.
Not working, ABS failure.
Can you try to do it again? Try to do it again.
So Mirko Bortolotti struggling with the brakes on the cars, and he's about 7/10 of a second off the pace at the moment. This is not going well. He's got his penalty to serve as well. He's got Dennis Olsen breathing down his neck, and how quickly things can change in motorsport. Dennis Olsen showing his nose all the way to turn 12. Now, of course, he is teammate at Mante EMA 2, Thomas Preining, and he can do his teammate a favour here by taking some points away from his nearest championship rival. Thomas Preining in a great position here to potentially snatch the championship lead back. Still a long way to go in this race though, we're not yet at half distance. Bortolotti is just trying to gather himself together now, but look, he pulls to the inside. He's going to go through the penalty box at 50 kilometres an hour. It's going to cost him 5 seconds, then he gets up to speed. Then Reddy Rast comes past him as well, or does he? Does he? Because Bortolotti thought about firing it back up the inside then through into turns 2 and 3, but didn't quite do it in the end. But that puts him out of the top 10 now. Bortolotti behind Rennie Rast. We've got Marco Wittmann leading the race. He's yet to make a stop. David Schumacher in second. Likewise, Lucas Stoltz is the real race leader there in 3rd place. Thomas Preining will be 2nd once it all settles down. And then we're going to have Ayenjan Gu in 3rd of the pit stop as Ricardo Feller starting 12th. It's going to be in 4th place when this all sorts itself out. Looking back then at Dennis Olsen, who is continuing to pile on the pressure here. He's got this uphill climb over the start-finish line. Looking back at the Porsche though, losing a bit of ground on the run into the braking zone. And then Dennis, the Norwegian driver, comes back at Sheldon van der Linde a little bit under braking through that right-hander at turn 1. Here then is Thomas Preining. Let's get some team radio from the driver 2nd in the standings.
Watch out for your tires, watch out for your tires. We do believe the Merc is managing. Try to maintain the gap to Guven.
So look after the tyres, that's the key message, because it's a long race with high-speed corners. It's quite difficult asphalt here as well, and the right side of the car is fully loaded up for a long time with these high-speed turns. So bring the car home. You've got a championship to think about. Don't try and go for the race win. Just get the points. It doesn't really matter that Lucas Stoltz is ahead. Yeah, 5 more points would be great. Yes, a win would be great, but you are taking points away from all of your championship rivals. As way out wide goes Sheldon van der Linde, almost into the gravel trap there as he goes full throttle through the corner to try and fend off the number 90 Porsche of the man behind him, Dennis Olsen there. So through that turn, as he went out wide, that was at about 205 kilometres an hour. They reached 265 kilometres an hour before they get into turn 12. And here is one of the heaviest braking zones coming up into turn 1 when they drop down to 2nd gear, and just over 75 kilometres an hour, which is almost a hairpin that first turn. What a replay, sending it way out wide. You're on board with Sheldon van der Linde, and this was the moment he drifted towards the gravel trap there on the left-hand side, but just about kept it out, kept his foot in, stayed brave, and stayed ice cool. But that was an eye-opening moment. Somehow, the defending champion didn't even lose a place with all of that. Class act, Sheldon van der Linde, fighting for a 2nd consecutive DTM Championship title. He's got a winner here as well at this track in GT Masters, partnering his brother Kelvin van der Linde. So an update of the points. Bortolotti is going to lose his 7-point championship lead. It's going to become a 6-point deficit, a 13-point swing as it stands, with Thomas Preining regaining the championship lead. If it stays like this, we're into the final stages of the race. You're looking back from Ricardo Feller's Audi, and he's under all sorts of pressure from his teammate Kelvin van der Linde. But from AB Sportsline, their point of view, Ricardo is the driver with the best chance of winning the Drivers' Championship, and even though he's quicker at the moment, even though it looks like Ricardo is struggling with his tyres, I think Kelvin is going to stay behind him and have to play rear gunner on this occasion. But certainly Kelvin with the pace to be on the podium here this weekend if he'd only not had that 5-place grid penalty. But watch for him on day 2, I reckon, Kelvin van der Linde. He's getting as close as he dares to the back of his teammate, but the Swiss driver should be safe in the knowledge that Kelvin's not going to do anything silly. There's a big gap back to the next car in 7th place. 6th place, which is Sheldon van der Linde. Dennis Olsen 7th. Rene Rasta's had a good drive, hasn't he, to 8th place from 18th on the grid. Bortolotti 9th is on damage limitation here, and Thierry Vermeulen is on course for his 5th consecutive top 10 finish in the championship. So he's been really impressive of late, the Ferrari driver. That was as close as you can get without actually trading paintwork between these two. And Thomas Biermeier and Martin Tomczyk at Abt will be slightly nervous of just how close together these two are. They're also 3rd in the team standings at the moment, Abt. They picked up more points than anybody at the Lausitz-Ring, so they're closing the gap at the top of the team standings, and that's of consideration to them as well. It's not just about the Drivers' Championship. We're into the closing stages though. Ricardo Feller, I think, will be well pleased with this. Even if he qualified and started 7th, which is where he should have been, without that grid penalty, he would have taken 4th place. But here's the flag, and Lukas Stolz takes his first race victory of the season. 2nd place to Thomas Preining, 3rd place to Ayen Nguyen, and celebrations at HRT, their first win as a team this year as well. So Lukas Stolz, in the 11th race of the season, becomes the 10th different winner of 2023. Preining and Nguyen on the podium with him. Ricardo Feller 4th, Kelvin van der Linde 5th ahead of his brother Sheldon, Dennis Olsen, Rene Rast, Mirko Bortolotti and Thierry Vermeulen rounding out the top 10 in the first race of the weekend here at the Sachsenring. So lots of drama in the opening encounters, and big dramas in that race, of course, for Mirko Bortolotti, revolving around that pit stop and that penalty. From Pereira started with the grid penalty as well, but got into the points in 11th place. Lauren Heinrich 12th, Arjun Maini 13th, Yusuf Avega 14th, and Marvin Dienst in 15th place. The other drivers to finish in the points in race 1. That's a retirement further back, including Maro Engel and the unfortunate Jack Aitken. So what a performance it was from this man, Lukas Stolz. No other Mercedes up there, but he's a winner.
It's never easy, especially you have critical moments, which is always safety car and pit stop. You always cross fingers that nothing really happens. But yeah, it was just a solid race today. The team did an outstanding job. Car was a rocket. So yeah, good day.
Thomas Preining, 2nd place, a 6th podium of the season, and back into the championship lead by 6 points with just 5 races to go in DTM 2023.
It was a very strategy-dependent race and difficult to manage as well. And I'm just super happy and proud of my team that we all managed to do our job so well. And P2 is a good result.
And an historic podium for Ayen Nguyen, the first ever Turkish driver to get on a DTM podium. His first podium in the DTM, and one which was long overdue. He's been knocking on the door. Finally, he'll get some silverware.
I think it's for me to like break the, I don't want to say bad luck, but this, it's always there is a block to podium for me. Now we break it. I hope now it will be easier to go podium more often.
And so the celebrations. Gerd Enser of the ADAC presents the winner's trophy to Lukas Stolz. What a season this is. 11 races, 10 different winners. The championship just keeps on delivering. A well-earned 2nd place trophy though, and importantly the points that came with it for Thomas Preining, back into the championship lead here at the Sachsenring. And there is a man who knows all about accuracy. Gabriel Clemens, who got into the semi-finals of the World Darts Championship, presents Ayen Nguyen with his 3rd place trophy. A well-deserved first ever podium for the Turkish driver in the DTM, and maybe the first of many more to come. Nguyen's excellent performance, perhaps the result of a very special preparation. because the Porsche driver was in basketball fever this weekend, and together with Lamborghini driver Frank Pereira, he swapped his race suit for a basketball jersey when the two DTM drivers visited the Niners in nearby Chemnitz.
So we are here in the Niners Chemnitz training court, and yeah, we have opportunity to play a little bit basketball with the players from the team.
Inspired by events at the Basketball World Championship in Asia and the German team's historic title win, the two race drivers showed off their throwing skills.
Just enjoying, for me, first time in the basket, here. It's a really great time. It's really nice to share something different than what we get used. Especially for me, the first time I touched a ball, so I really enjoy it. It was nice.
Jonas Richter and Kevin Yebo from the Basketball Bundesliga team also had fun and definitely discovered talent in the two racers.
They did very good. I saw they made a couple of shots, good shooting technique. So yeah, maybe they want to come to our practice.
I think with a little bit more training, they can step on the court, yes.
Words of praise, but there's certainly still some room for improvement, and not only in terms of size.
What a thrilling DTM season 2023. We've had 5 different leaders of the championship. At the moment it's Thomas Preining, but Mirko Bortolotti is only 3 points behind and he's starting in pole position. So let's see what this race brings.
So the cars and drivers on the grid, set fair for another epic encounter here at the Sachsenring. Thomas Preining, though, in a bit of strife, only qualifying in 11th place, and with his key rival Mirko Bortolotti right at the very front of the grid on pole position. So this could be a tough race for the Austrian driver. Lukas Stolz, an excellent effort after winning yesterday. He's qualified in the top 3 again. Second, and on the front row of the grid, Jack Aitken, who was unfortunate to retire yesterday with a damaged radiator. But Mirko Bortolotti, with a fantastic lap, leads them around from pole position.
We will try to do the best in this final stages of the championship. Still a lot of points up for grabs, a lot of races, a lot of things that can happen, and I think for the fans it's the best situation.
So here we go, another hot day at the Sachsenring, 28 degrees air temperature, track temperature not far behind. Bortolotti and Aitken then make a fascinating front row. Both race winners this year, Lukas Stolz and Frank Pereira, other race winners that we've had in 2023. The third row of the grid, Ricardo fell third in the championship, and Maro Engel, who had a retirement yesterday. Kelvin van der Linde starts 7th, and Engin Guwen, after his first podium in the DTM, is alongside. Row 5, we've got Thierry Vermeulen starting 9th. He qualified 4th, but has a 5-place grid penalty. Arjumani alongside him. Then it's Preining and Patrick Niederhauser on the 6th row of the grid. Row 7, Joseph Vega and Lucas Auer, 5th in the championship at the start of the weekend, but no points yesterday. René Rast back in 15th. Sheldon van der Linde, the reigning champion, back in 16th spot. Then it's Marvin Dienst and Tim Heinemann making up row 9 of the grid, and the 10th row, David Schumacher and Clemens Schmidt complete the top 20. Then on row 11, Lauren Heinrich, who had 2 wins here at this track in the Porsche Carrera Cup Deutschland last year. Marco Wittmann for company. Dennis Olsen back in 23rd. Matthias Drudy in 24th position. Then on the penultimate row, Sandro Olsen and Luca Engster start 25th and 26th, with Alessio Dell'Eder starting back in 27th in the 3rd SSR Performance Lamborghini. Robert Forsterman then holds aloft the Start Your Engines board. The drivers are about to go into battle once again around this fantastic Sachsenring circuit as the fans await the start of another race. And there, Gottfried Grasser hoping that his driver Clemens Schmidt could come through the packs. SSR Performance and Haupt Racing will be hoping for success here as well. There we go then, the safety car peels in, the rolling start about to get underway. Mirko Bortolotti on pole position, alongside him Jack Aitken, and the race thunders into life then as they charge down towards the first corner. It's a good start from Mirko Bortolotti. It's a pretty good start for Jack Aitken, but he can't find a way through. The inside line is covered, he goes to the outside line, goes out wide. That leaves the door open for Lukas Stolz and 1 or 2 others to come through, and Stolz has got through to 2nd place. So down to 3rd position for Jack Aitken as we follow them charging down through the left-hander at turn 2, and up ahead there's some smoke and dust, and 2 cars have gone off into the gravel trap. A Mercedes is one of them. It is Maro Engel and also Engin Guwen in the Porsche. He gets going again, but Maro Engel is stuck. Let's take a look at a replay. Looks like he got clipped from behind by Kelvin van der Linde.
Yeah, it's very disappointing, especially after yesterday. We made it until turn 2, got a hit and taken out of the race, and now turn 3. I mean, yeah, really bad weekend.
We've had a separate incident at the next corner. Sheldon van der Linde, fourth in the championship. Lauren Heinrich, Marvin Dienst, and also Dennis Olsen involved in that one. Cars littered everywhere on the run down through turns 2 and 3, so no choice but to bring the red flags out. So let's take a look at some replays. Here's the start, then the rolling start, led by Mirko Bortolotti on the charge through turn 1. The car's charging into that second gear corner, slowing down to 77 kilometres an hour. Jack Aitken trying the outside line, going a bit too wide, and that allowed Lucas Stoltz to get through and into second place as they spiral down through turns 2, down towards turn 3. Now keep an eye on the number 48 Mercedes of Maro Engel. There was a cloud of dust, can't really see from that angle what happened, but he and Iengen Nguyen out, and then it was a separate incident at turn 3. Lucas Auer had contact with Josefa Vega, cannonballed into the back and side of the BMW of Sheldon van der Linde, and all the other cars had absolutely nowhere to go. Marvin Dienst into a spin, collected the BMW. Dennis Olsen went off the road in avoidance as well, and with absolutely nowhere to go into the back of this car, Lauren Heinrich in the Porsche. And that was on board with Sheldon van der Linde. He also clipped on his way around into that spin, the left rear corner of the championship leader, Thomas Preining. So hopefully from Thomas's point of view, there's not too much damage. His teammate, though, is carrying a lot. Look, Dennis Olsen's Porsche, the front left all caved in, and smoke coming from the back of the car as well. And it's parked back on the grid now, but it is singed, it is burnt, and I'm not sure that car is going to be rejoining the race. So they've gone through the first sector. They'll restart in the positions that they were in rather than a full restart. Dennis Olsen, the Norwegian driver, taking a look at the back of his car. Looks like the exhaust has been pushed in, and that's set fire to the back of the car. So running repairs down on the grid for the teams. The gaffer tape is out. That's on Josefa Vega's Mercedes. The fans wait for the restart of the race, which hopefully won't be too far away. Okay, we're about to get into a single file restart here at the Sachsenring, with Bortolotti leading Stoltz, Aitken third, Pereira fourth, Feller fifth, and Kelvin van der Linde in 6th place. Here we go then. Mirko Bortolotti nails the throttle, unleashes more than 550 brake horsepower, and the Lamborghini charges over the crest and back into full race action. He's going to have quite a big advantage over Lucas Stoltz. Jack Aitken weaving around in the Ferrari in 3rd place. From Pereira in 4th has got Ricardo Feller's Abt Sportsline Audi trying to come around the outside of him. Ricardo's teammate Kelvin van der Linde just behind. But Thierry Vermeulen did a terrific job to qualify 4th this morning, but carrying a 5-place grid penalty for picking up a number of reprimands. So he's come from 9th on the grid, but making good progress already, and out wide and kissing the gravel trap there. That was Lucas Auer. He's having a real rough ride. He's gone fully through the gravel trap, in fact. The Austrian driver is going to plummet to the back of the field, and it's turned into a nightmare weekend. He was not happy with his own performance yesterday, he said, but the car was struggling after some damage in the initial stages, and they never really had the right setup on the tyres around here at the Sachsenring, a circuit where tyres are so critical. With all these high-speed corners, look at this, René Rast down the inside of Josefa Vega. The Schubert BMW has got the racing line. He steals it away from Josefa, who has to go wide and puts 2 wheels through the gravel trap at turn 12 and into turn 13. René Rast using all of his experience to move into 10th place. So again, like he did in race 1, bad qualifying, but making good progress in the race from 15th on the grid. Mirko Bortolotti in the lead, Thomas Preining 9th. If it stays like this, and there's a very long way to go, then Mirko Bortolotti will be the championship leader as we head towards the Red Bull Ring. Right, the pit window is open. Mirko Bortolotti stays out, and in comes Lucas Stoltz. Jack Aitken stays out. Ricardo Feller is going to join him in the pit lane. So the middle 20 minutes of the race is where the mandatory pit stop and tyre changes happen. I think Thomas Preining came in as well. Yes, the Porsche in the background coming into shot then. So Thomas Preining with the onboard camera and the Manthey EMA Porsche. In he comes, a critical pit stop this. The race is going okay at the moment, but he is losing points to his main championship rival. He's also losing points to Ricardo Feller. He goes out. Lucas Stoltz should be out well ahead of him when he gets to the end of the pit lane. He's closer to the end of the pit lane in the Mercedes. So he'll be the leading pit stopper. Then it'll be Ricardo Feller, the next best pit stopper, and on board with Thomas Preining. But he is much closer to them, so this is working out pretty well so far for Preining. All 3 drivers, though, and everybody else that's stopped at the moment are going to have pretty long second stints on those tyres in these very hot conditions. René Rast also making a pit stop, rejoining the action now. So in now comes Mirko Bortolotti, the championship leader. This is where it all went wrong yesterday during the pit stop, where the car revved up and span its wheels on the jacks. That caused him to get a penalty. It also tripped the ABS system, which he then had to reset when he went back on track, which is why he lost all those places, including one to Sheldon van der Linde. But that was pretty perfect. Jack Aitken has been into the pits as well. So where are they all going to tumble out in relation to Lucas Stoltz and Ricardo Vella and Thomas Preining? Bortolotti should still be the leader. Aitken, though, it's going to be tight. He's just coming out of the pit lane exit now, so Bortolotti will be the net leader of the best of the pit stoppers. Aitken is going to come out just alongside Lucas Stoltz here. What really is the battle for second place. The Ferrari driver has got his nose in front, and he's just about there, but he's on cold tyres, and Lucas Stoltz is all over the back of him now, weaving around as we look back from the Ferrari. And Jack Aitken now kicks up the gravel as he tries to defend all the way to turn 3. Lucas Stoltz has set that up beautifully for a run up the inside into the next turn at turn 4, and he gets through. And then you got Ricardo Vella all over the back of the Ferrari, which runs wide. There's a gap, there's contact. Ricardo Vella just about squeezing through at turn 6 through turn 7, and Ricardo Vella into a net 3rd place, but that wasn't without contact. And Jack Aitken there dropping back now into the clutches of Thomas Preining. He's got a problem, he's got damage, and I'm afraid he's headed back for the pits. Here's a replay, just at the curb, Aitken ran out wide, the door opened, Vella went for it, but there was the contact, and there he's damaged the wheel and ripped the tyre off the Ferrari. Meanwhile, the race leader Mirko Bortolotti has been on the team radio, and he's reporting that there might be an oil pressure problem. He's got a warning light on the Lamborghini.
There's a problem with the oil pressure, but that's everything what I could say.
Well, Bortolotti has been pushing on despite this drama with the oil pressure warning. Oh, somebody else with the trip to the gravel trap. That is the Audi of Luca Engsler, I'm afraid. And that doesn't look good. It's a big, long gravel trap. That's skidding his way through. He's going to get back out of the gravel trap, but a long, long way down the field now. He brings all that gravel back onto the track as well, and the Audi looks like it might be headed, I'm afraid, for retirement. So Bortolotti leads with just over 16 minutes to go. SSR Performance looking a bit concerned. Stoltz in second, Vella in third, Pereira in fourth, and Thomas Preining has come out of that pit stop period very well. I know we lost Jack Aitken, but he's made up quite a few places during that period. So 5th place now for him. However, he's got a Ferrari breathing down his neck. Thierry Vermeulen looking for his best result in the DTM. His first top 6 finish. The young 20-year-old Dutch driver who's raced here before at the Sachsenring in the GT Masters. He's getting better and better with every race weekend. Right, we're on the final lap of the race. Mirko Bortolotti is almost home and dry. Lucas Stoltz in second, Ricardo Vella third. Under pressure still from Pereira as they come down towards turn 12 for the final time. Bortolotti is almost there though, with Thomas Preining in 5th place. This is going to be the championship lead with 4 races to go in the DTM. Here he comes, Mirko Bortolotti, now a 3-time winner in the DTM, takes the checkered flag here at the Sachsenring.
Boom! Yes, mate, you did it! Your 3rd one.
A terrific effort from the SSR Performance team. Their 2nd season in DTM, their first with Lamborghini. And here they are leading the Drivers' Championship. Mirko Bortolotti, the race winner. Lucas Stoltz 2nd, Ricardo Vella 3rd on the road. However, he was subsequently given a 5-second penalty for that contact with Jack Aitken. That would later promote Franck Pereira onto the podium for SSR Performance. They're the rest of the results, and Lucas Auer, despite all of his dramas, just about coming home with a championship point. But a full weekend for the Austrian, a great weekend for the Italian. Mirko Bortolotti absolutely delighted. He knows how important that race victory is. He is the championship leader, and he leaps into the arms of his team. A fantastic effort. He's now got an 11-point lead at the top of the championship table. Thomas Preining will go to his home race in 2nd place in the points, with Ricardo Vella 3rd in the standings. A mighty effort as well this weekend from Lucas Stoltz, a win and a 2nd. He's up to 5th place in the championship.
I think this weekend I achieved something quite big, with a victory in the 2nd place. Can't get much better.
And what a day for this man. Mirko Bortolotti has now won 3 out of the last 6 races in DTM.
I'm just super happy. Perfect race. Was really tough out there the last few laps. They were pushing me hard, and I just tried to bring it home, which worked out. So, yeah, super proud of the team, SSR Performance and Lamborghini, everyone. Phenomenal job.
Mirko Bortolotti's the only driver to win more than one race this season. He's got 3 victories now. The momentum is very much with the Italian as we head into the final 4 races of the season.
It was a hot race weekend. What a phenomenal race weekend we had here at the Sachsenring. But not only the DTM was racing, but also the ADAC GT Masters. Check it out.
It's the second half of the season for the ADAC GT Masters. Finn Gersitz and Sven Muller came into this weekend as championship leaders, but pole position for Salman Ovega propelled him and co-driver Elias Seppänen to joint top of the points. And it was Salman Ovega who led the field into turn 1. All of the cars are making it around, but lots of battles up and down the pack. It was Salman Ovega who led the way, with Benjamin Heites in the Lamborghini behind him. Eduardo Cosseteng made a great start, challenging Alan Valente for 4th place. He'd qualified in 7th, but was working his way up the grid, coming very, very close as he went past in the BMW, leaving the Mercedes in his wake up the hill. The blind crest, that is such a feature here at the Sachsenring. The pit window was open and it was Benjamin Heites who came in early from 2nd place, handing the GRT Grasser Lamborghini over to Marco Mappelli. He rejoined a lap behind Salman Ovega, who was waiting late into the pit window before he made his stop. Nico Menzel sneaked through into 2nd place, having taken over the Huber Motorsport Porsche. Then into the pits came Salman Ovega. It was now the turn of Elias Seppänen, who helped Salman Ovega out of the car. Meanwhile, Marco Mappelli out on track, and it's a puncture. The right rear of the Lamborghini exploding as he headed into turn 1. It was a good job it was there. He was able to slow the car down, but it was a long trek back to the pits. The rubber eventually separating from that Lamborghini. Then Nico Menzel was in the gravel trap on turn 5. It triggered a safety car. All the cars brought back into single file, but Nico Menzel, after such a strong showing, was going no further. Back to green with less than 30 seconds to go. It was quite the battle. Ben Green in the Schubert Motorsport BMW alongside Sven Muller, the 2 cars running side by side before Ben Green, who had taken over from Eduardo Cosseteng, moves it up into 2nd place. What a battle it was for 2nd though. Ben Green, Maxi Gertz from the back of the grid, Sven Muller and Ralph Aron all fighting for that 2nd place. Out of the final corner though came Elias Seppänen, winning the race by 4.8 seconds. And the rest of the field following through. It was Ben Green in 2nd place, Maxi Gertz. What a run up into 3rd place. You can see the point standings. It's Elias Seppänen and Salman Ovega who stretch their legs at the top. 14 points ahead of Finn Gersitz and Sven Muller. So with that race done, it's now attention to race 8 that takes place here at the Sachsenring. And that happens tomorrow.
Yeah, it was quite an easy race for me. Salman gave me the car with a really nice gap. Then for me it was just to finish the race basically, bring the car home. Got a bit exciting at the end with the safety car, but yeah, luckily managed to bring it home in P1.
GT Masters Race 2 at the Sachsenring, and Maxi Gertz on pole position, but only by 20 thousandths of a second from Ralph Aron, starting 3rd, new championship leader Elias Seppänen as they charge towards the first corner. Then the Mercedes absolutely side by side. Ralph Aron trying to go around the outside of Maxi Gertz, but then running out wide, the door opening up, and Marco Mappelli in the Lamborghini clipping him on the way past, dropping down 4 places. So it was Gertz that led, Seppänen into 2nd place, Mappelli 3rd, and Sven Muller in the Porsche trying to be in 4th place down at turn 3. A replay showing what a heavy hit it was and what good reactions from Ralph Aron to avoid the gravel trap. He just about fended off Ben Green in the BMW as well, but the chance to fight for the lead of the race had already gone. Maxi Gertz had been impressive in the 2nd stint in the opening race and dragged the team onto the podium on Saturday. So he started to pull away from Seppänen, but a great battle going on for 3rd place between the Lamborghini of Mappelli and the Porsche of Muller. Muller, having been on a podium position until the closing 2 laps of race 1, was determined to get some silverware. He was also well aware that Seppänen, the championship leader, was 2 places ahead, looking to extend his championship lead. Into the mandatory pit stop then, and Maxi Gertz pushed it as long as he could. He came out and was replaced by Petro Umbarescu, but with a big 13-second advantage. Following the pit stop, Benjamin Heites was now at the wheel of the Lamborghini, and Finn Gersitz at the Porsche, and Gersitz dived down the inside at turn 3. The move wasn't without contact, but he got through ahead and into third place. But then real drama as Petro Umberescu was given a drive-through penalty. The team had undercut the mandatory pit stop time by more than 2 seconds, and the day would get worse as he went off into the gravel trap and was overtaken by Eduardo Cosseteng in the BMW. Chance of the podium gone after the great work of Maxi Götz in the opening stint. And there was more drama as into the pits came Finn Gersitz, the driver second in the championship with a right rear puncture. A nightmare weekend here after so much potential. There was a great scrap then for third place as Alan Valenti, the Swiss driver, chucked it up the inside of the Porsche of Jonas Fischer, and side by side they went on the way to turn 13. The Mercedes making it through and putting himself into third place at a podium position. And not long afterwards, Fischer was in with a problem. A slow puncture on the right rear would drop the Huber Motorsport Porsche further down the order. No dramas though for the race winners, Salman Vega and Elias Seppänen. Landgraf Motorsport taking their second win of the weekend and further extending their new championship lead with 2 weekends to go at the Red Bull Ring and then at Hockenheim. So congratulations to them. In second place, Benjamin Heites and Marco Mappelli, and third place going to Alan Valenti and Ralph Aron after a great comeback here at the Sachsenring.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely be happy with 2 wins, in 2 races, so you can really be happy with that, taking maximum points. Yeah, it's definitely really good for the championship.
We promised you a very hot race weekend here at the Sachsenring, and that's what you got, not only in regards to the weather, but also in regards to all the racing action. So see you in 2 weeks at the Red Bull Ring. Don't want to miss it. Bye-bye.